Okay, so welcome everybody. Nice to be here with everybody. So let's just start with a nice deep breath in. Have a sigh out. And again, deep breath in. And last one. Lovely. So we're going to start the practice by opening sacred space over ourselves individually and then over everybody who's here. So we're going to just set the intention to be present with each other for this practice for the benefit of all beings. And as you inhale, bring the hands above the head. So they come into that 8th chakra. Push the palms up and then imagine opening this beautiful ball of golden energy all around you. So you're sitting in this beautiful sacred space that is out of time. And then we do the same for each other. So if you imagine we're all sat in a huge circle, we're going to create a big dome. Inhale. Be aware of that energy in the 8th chakra and then imagine placing it over everybody and bringing each and every one of us together into this sacred circle. So just going to just move the body just a little bit. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting in front of the computer most of the afternoon working. So let's take a twist to the right. Deep breath in, and as you squeeze, have a sigh out. Notice any tension that's running through the spinal area, the muscles either side, maybe the neck. And notice whether the breath naturally wants to be a sigh or maybe it wants to come out through the nose, entirely your choice. So remember, sighing is one of the body's natural ways to release stress from the nervous system. Helps to soothe the vagus nerve. As does crying, laughing, yawning. Trying to think of other ones. Shaking. Let's go the other way. Release. Let's take a little bit of movement into the heart space. So the heart chakra is that gateway between the earth chakras and the sky chakras when they're collectively brought together. So let's just open that gateway a little bit. Inhale to the left, so your left, exhale to the right. And remember, you can do this slowly or you can build up the speed. And if you're familiar with the Kundalini practice, go as fast as you want to. Be aware of that on a really basic level to start with in the body. So just observing from an aspect of body and then move your attention a little bit higher and start to observe in an aspect of emotions. Notice maybe what's being held at the heart space. Maybe it comes as an image or a memory or a sensation of energy. Lovely. Come back to center. Just bring the elbows together. Breathe in. Big sigh. Now let's bring the hands and just gently connect them to the base of the skull. Inhale, lift the gaze. And as you exhale, chin to chest, squeeze the elbows in. And again, noticing on a physical awareness level how it feels when you just simply bring the chin in. Does the body resist it and then it starts to curl? Can you feel the energy running all the way from the neck to the lower back? And then also, what do you feel emotionally as you start to release the tension that we carry on the back, particularly around our shoulders? So we carry this emotional responsibility, many of us. Wait, one more. Good, spine nice and straight. Give those shoulders another roll. Oh, mine are a bit creaky today. Wait, and turn the head one way and then the other. Notice what's happening with the jaw. So as you turn the jaw, are you consciously aware of any tension that you're holding there in the jawline? Can you relax the teeth away from each other? What about the tongue? Is the tongue still moving slightly? Can you relax it so it drops back and down? Tuck the chin in, draw a circle. Just be cautious with that movement if the neck's a bit tender. And again, use the breath. Notice when the body wants to sigh out, perhaps some energy that's a little bit heavier. It needs a sigh to bring it out. Good, change directions. Back to center. So just observing the natural breath. So remember, Tonglen is the practice of releasing suffering. And that is formed by our stories that we attach to. And some of those stories are the ancestral stories. So just to sort of drop us towards that point, we're going to go into some breathing practices after this, but I'm just going to read from Yukti, verse 109, which is 132 in the Vijnana Baha Tantra. Just not that one, it's 107. The page had turned. 107. We all tremble and we all know fear. But turn to the one life pervading the universe, whose name dispels fear. and find that name resonating in the heart. So take your left hand, place it on the heart chakra. And use your right hand and just bring it to the side of you. And I want you to imagine that your fingers are growing like roots until they reach deep into the earth. And imagine or sense the heartbeat of Mother Earth, a deep, low drum beat. Imagine that beat rising up the arm to meet the heart space, and synchronize your own heart beat with that of Mother Earth. Breathe in for 4. Breathe out for 6 or more. So dropping into the parasympathetic response. We all tremble. We all know fear. Turn to the one life pervading the universe, whose name dispels fear. Find that name resonating in your heart. Luminosity permeates the universe. And the secret sound that hums everything into existence resounds everywhere. Listen to the inner sound continually and become lovers with the secret one. Just feeling the beat of your own heart. Be aware of that letting go, the shedding of the past, the old stories that just keep going round and round like a record. I nearly started to break into song then from Dead or Alive. But feel those stories dissolving as you find this place of rest at the heart space. As you lengthen into the exhalation, feel them shedding, releasing, and recognizing that when we choose to let them go, and rather being the story ourselves, we become the storyteller, so there's a detachment from it. There is an opening of space. A surrendering to the true self at the heart space, that particle of infinity that is our true nature, has many names. And then we're going to release our fight and flight system. So take your right hand now that's connected to earth and your own heart, and I want you to place it on the second chakra. So the second chakra links into our adrenal glands, which are often on, and we don't even realize it in the modern world. So bring your awareness to the breath at the heart space, feeling that lovely, gentle, supportive rhythm of the Mother Earth and your own heart space. Unconditional love. And let it flow down the right arm from your own heart space and into the second chakra. And I want you to talk to your second chakra And just tell it that it's safe and that it's okay. It's okay to let go of those patterns that are linked to our fear response, our need for safety. Maybe there's been a hurt in the past. Just, it's okay now. It's okay. Turn to the one life that pervades the universe, whose name dispels fear, and find the name resonating in your heart. Listen to the sound. Become lovers with the secret one. Feel that energy creating a current, almost like a beautiful wave that moves from the heart to the second chakra, like a mother supporting a child. Perhaps there were moments when you were younger where you didn't feel supported and you did feel unsafe. So support that younger you and tell your younger you how brilliant and amazing you are, and that it's safe to be yourself, to shine your creativity into the world. So often our creativity gets blocked by these stories that get rooted in the second chakra through fear. Just keep talking to your younger self, to the second chakra, in whatever way you like to talk, but make it positive and loving, unconditional love with acceptance, no judgment, just that understanding that you are pure, unconditional love yourself, this beautiful light that is experiencing life on earth. And continue to lengthen that exhalation. Be aware of the energy in each of the hands, gently having a conversation with each other. And the next time the thought arises, I want this, or I think that, grab hold of the I and perceive it by itself and wonder, who is this I? I am animal. I am human. I am a loving heart. I am a questing mind. I am a particle of infinity. I am a witness to creation. I am consciousness itself. I am consciousness itself. And in meditation, embrace all of these dimensions: our human aspect, our spiritual aspect, and reach into the source, the luminous world of dancing energies that is ever changing. The one sure thing is that everything changes. There is constant change in the universe. And that universe is within us. So remember, the next time you tremble or you feel a little bit fearful, turn to this one life that pervades the universe, that resonates in the heart. Let's just spend a few more moments allowing our flight and fight system to switch off fully, to nurture ourselves from our heart, from our luminosity. Allowing that release as you exhale, releasing more and more of the stories, the tiny rivulets that we go down to add to this original story, to make it bigger. Let it go. And I was struck by a quote that I saw actually on a film last night. And actually, it's an Ernest Hemingway quote. And I found it really powerful and thought it was appropriate for the practices that we do here. There is nothing noble in being superior to your fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. And this is what Tonglen is about. It's a meditation of transformation. And what we're transforming is those denser energies that are held within us and then in the collective, because we're all interconnected. So we have to start with clearing ourselves, and then we continue to help others by offering our self as a conduit, so it doesn't attach to us, but it just allows us, we're like a processing factory for waste material. And as it comes out, it's just lovely and clean, and it just flows out, so it doesn't attach to us at all. So start to bring your attention now to the heart space. And within that heart space, imagine this amazing, multifaceted diamond, like the most beautiful, largest diamond in the world, crafted by the best craftsmen, with so many facets that we can't really count them. And we all each individually have a facet of that diamond. And our eyes look out from it, and we experience life through this biological vehicle, the earth suit, the meat suit, whatever you want to call it. So be aware of that beautiful diamond, and be aware of everybody else here tonight, and how we're sitting in this sacred circle, all with these beautiful diamonds radiating our light. And it's this diamond, this area at the heart space that processes heavier energy, which we label dense or darker. And it's just energy. And what happens when that energy comes towards the heart space, it's used like a fuel. So it's rather like putting a log on the fire. And we allow that fire to burn brightly. So it increases our energy field, and at the same time releases the energy that needs to be transformed. So with your attention at the heart space, start to breathe in as if you're breathing directly into that diamond. Notice how it's getting shinier. And as you exhale, send out some light. So we're just using the inhale and the exhale. So our true self, that light that we truly are, that particle of infinity, becomes rather like a lighthouse that's on rocky land. And sometimes Earth feels like that. But when we connect to this one life that pervades the universe, that has part of itself within us, we bring ourselves home through this light. And at the same time, when we move from this place of light, we're able to direct it out towards others and help others. And by helping others, we raise the vibrational frequency of the world and make it a much nicer place to live in, much more peaceful, much more community minded, much more a sense of togetherness rather than otherness. So let's start to give that breath a little bit more texture. So as you inhale, start to imagine the inhalation is a dark cloud of energy, and it's coming towards the heart space to be recycled, but also to be used for the purpose of ignition, to amplify the light at the heart space. Breathe it in and pour it out, this beautiful light. So when we take wood, I love this explanation, which comes from Alberto Velodo, who's a shamanic teacher of mine. He says, when we put a log onto a fire, which is what we're essentially doing symbolically with this energy, the fire of the heart for transformation, we're taking a tree and we're placing it onto the fire. And the fire that we see is the sunlight that the tree originally absorbed when it was growing. And I love that image of releasing that light back into the world. And that's what we're doing. So we're taking this denser energy, which is a log now, and the tree's grown into this big tree, and it's experienced many lives of humans, because many trees are very old, and the changes of the human species and the changes of the environment. And it holds a story within its structure. And then when we place it on the fire, it releases it into the light. And that's all that we're doing here with this meditation. And I say all, actually, it's incredibly powerful, this meditation. So whatever imagery works for you is fine. Just let that imagination be fired by that inhaling, that incoming energy that's a little bit heavier, a little bit more dense, holds sort of stories and information, and you're going to put it onto the fire of the heart and transmute it outwards, and let the heart, that fire, grow and expand, more and more logs, more and more light. Until it's burning really brightly. And we're going to start the process of transformation with our own self. So keeping your attention at all times on the heart space. Become aware of your own body and become aware of your own suffering. So remember, suffering is on many levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual. So be aware on those levels of your own suffering, how it manifests. And in reality, the energy body is our primary body. So manifestation starts in the energy body. So it starts in our thoughts, our emotions. It comes into the energy field. And if we don't clear them, they become very dense. And then that energy settles into the physical vehicle. And if it isn't cleared, it becomes disease. So just observing whatever arises, take your time, really allow yourself to feel, imagine into what's going on for this body vehicle, which includes the emotions and the mind. Feel into it. And when you're ready, breathing in from the extremities, this dark energy, bring it to the light, pop on all those logs into the fire, see them burn, and as you exhale, push the light out so it fills your entire body. Expand it out into the Dwadishanta, the energy field, or the luminous energy field. It has many names. And really focus on the feelings, and within the feelings, what are the emotions? And within these emotions, what are the stories that are attached to them? And bring them to the fire of the heart to be burnt. Give thanks to them because they brought you to where you are now. Honor them and release them so that their energy can be transmuted back into nature, back into the universe, back into light to be used for some other purpose. Notice any sadness in your field, any anger. There's a huge spectrum that could be going on within your own personal psyche. Just notice it, work with the breath, drawing in those darker, denser energies from the stories, popping them on that lovely light, the diamond, the fire at the heart space, transmuting them, pushing that light back out into your physical body, into your energy field. And notice the subtle shifts of vibrational energy. Notice a sense of heaviness being transformed into lightness, darkness being transformed into light. So let's do 3 really well focused breaths. And feel that new, beautiful light quality within your own field. So before we move on to the next stage, I want you to just, sometimes when we start to work with others, we get an attachment or we're not sure what's going on in our mind. So I want you to say to yourself and to your guides, which we all have, and you don't necessarily need to know them, just ask their permission. But say to them, please, can you move my ego out of the way? What I do is I imagine that I pick it up and I just go, just over there for now. Just sit over there. And another thing, which is a shamanic way of saying it, so it's the same thing that it's saying, is to say, please make me a hollow bone. That's quite a nice visual, that is. It's whatever works for you. So we're just offering our meditation for the benefit of all beings. So I want you to bring a loved one to mind. Somebody who you find it really easy to be with. Somebody who's comfortable to be around. And again, you might get one or two people that come to mind initially, but bring each of them to the heart rather than the head. So we're not analysing, and feel, ask the heart, who needs me to work for them tonight? And just take a moment to make that really intuitive, heartfelt decision who you're going to work for. And then imagine that you're sitting with them. So we're working in what's called the quantum field. When we step out of time by opening our energy body, we can go anywhere. So you're sitting next to them, there's no distance. Be aware of them, notice what they're wearing. And just notice the body. Notice how their suffering shows on the body. Is it any physical, emotional, mental? They're really all interrelated. So because they start in the higher frequency place of energy, and then eventually, if it's not shifted, it becomes denser. So notice their physical attributes and how maybe it shows, maybe it's their shoulders, maybe there's some pain in their face, their jawline. Look into their eyes. Their eyes are always very telling. When you look at someone's eyes, is there sadness there? Can you see into their stories and their suffering? Just be really intuitive about it. Notice it. And then when you're ready, imagine this suffering's going to come out. You're inviting it to come out. And it comes out like a cloud of smoke. And it just starts to form between you and them. So like a big fluffy dark cloud. Could be like a rain cloud, something like that. And when you're ready, you're going to breathe it in to amplify the fire at the heart. And as you breathe it in, notice that it instantly is transformed by the diamond. So it doesn't touch the diamond. It cannot be touched, but it's transformed by this firelight into this beautiful energy, and send that light out to them. And as you send it out, feel that unconditional love for them and the wish for them to be well. This healing light that is unconditional love, which comes from source energy. And as you start to pour this lovely light into them and transmute the cloud that you're breathing in on the inhale, start to notice subtle transformations in their body language. Maybe their speech is changing. Maybe there's a little smile on their face, a sense of ease rather than dis-ease. And feel that genuine, heartfelt wish for them to be well, for them to be free from suffering, and for them to connect to that particle of infinity within themselves, which is pure, unconditional love. And really concentrate. Let's do 3 more breaths for this loved one that you find it very easy to be with. feeling that unconditional love. There's nothing attached to it. There's nothing you expect in return, not even a thank you. It's just unconditional love. Notice how open unconditional love feels, how expansive it is. Notice how expansive your own heart space has become beyond the physical boundaries of the body. Lovely. So now we're going to work with somebody we find it really hard to be with, and this is so transformational because we're all mirrors for each other and we all have aspects that are very similar. And part of those aspects are dark shadow sides that we don't really want to other people to see, but we all have it. So it's nothing to be ashamed of. And we learn most from our shadow side. So find somebody that you want to work with who you find it really difficult to be with. Now, that can also be a loved one. Maybe you're having a bit of a challenge in a relationship at a moment, whether it's an intimate relationship or a friendship relationship that's quite intimate, or maybe it's a relationship with a work colleague, whoever it is. And again, take your time. So it'll come to mind to start with. And then rather than intellectualizing it and processing it in mind, bring them into the heart space. And just ask the heart which one's the most appropriate for you to work with today. A few more breaths until you settle onto that person you want to work with. And again, be aware of being with them. And it might be that you're just in the same room as them. You're not necessarily sitting near them. Whatever you feel comfortable doing with your energy projection. Notice them and be aware of that aspect of them that you find really challenging. So is it the interactions that you have with them that trigger you? Are they bullies? Are they angry? Are they somebody who is challenging to care for because they're stubborn? It can take many forms. But I want you to notice the behavior. And rather than being triggered by it or reacting to it from a place of anger or fear, which are essentially, it's always fear, I want you to notice it that it's actually a projection of their suffering. And it's how it shows itself on them. And notice their face. Notice how they carry that suffering. Is their face downturned? Have they created lines in their face because they don't smile very often? Are there lots of creases in their forehead because they're always frowning? It always shows itself in the body. Just notice it. And recognize it as an expression of suffering. And when you feel ready, take your time, start to see that suffering pouring out of them to form a cloud, a dark cloud of smoke. And you're going to breathe it in. And remember, the heart space is indestructible. We're just bringing it to that fire to transmute the heavier energy into light. And in this process, expanding our own heart space. And as you exhale, send out that light and a genuine, unconditional wish, full of unconditional love for this person to be free of their suffering. Now, it doesn't mean to say that if they are a perpetrator towards you, that they don't need to work on dealing with the consequences of their actions. That goes without saying, of course they do. But that's how people learn, is to take responsibility for their actions. But what we're doing is we're recognizing that it came from a place of suffering, trapped in their own cycle of stories that they believe to be true, that they project onto other people. So just transform. Feel the heart space being nice and open. And it might be that you do have this genuine wish for them to be well. Of course you do. Everybody deserves to be free from suffering. However, it doesn't mean to say that you have to be their rescuer. And it might be that you walk away from the relationship. And that will be better for everybody. Or that next time you interact with them, because maybe they're at work, if they're starting to have a bit of a screaming abdabs, as they're called in our house, maybe you say, "Are you okay? Would you like a cup of tea? You seem a little bit stressed," rather than reacting and pouring more fuel onto the fire that's already burning in them, this anger. So just keep working with the breath. And as you exhale that light, start to notice any subtle changes in this person. Maybe you have offered them a cup of tea and they just start crying because they've never really had that level of kindness. Just a simple act. Maybe you walk away from the situation because it's toxic and you don't react. And then they hear their own voice and how crazy they sound. And because you didn't react, they're able to recognize that perhaps they need to start to do the work for themselves. What I call the work, the inner work. Notice if you feel that your interaction has changed subtly with this person. Let's have 3 more breaths. Notice the subtle shifts in your own observations. Not just your observations of the person, but your observations of yourself. And just remembering, as before we move on, to that quote from Ernest Hemingway, beautiful quote. There is nothing noble in being superior to a fellow man. True nobility is being superior to your former self. So evolving, being more conscious. Now moving your awareness to a familiar stranger, like this one, This is a thing you can do when you're just walking outside. You can do an instant Tonglen practice. So a familiar stranger is somebody that maybe walks past the house. So my house is on a main route to schools. So there's often hundreds of children walking past my house. And sometimes I like to send them a little bit of love if they're having a bad day and they're crying. So somebody that you recognize, but you don't necessarily know the name. Could be a dog walker. So you'll probably know the dog's name, but you won't know the person's name. And just notice their suffering. Maybe it's somebody who serves you at the supermarket. Maybe it's a neighbour that you don't know particularly well. But you can see the suffering and how it shows on the body, how it shows in the face, the emotions, the interactions. Just noticing it on all levels of perception. And when you're ready, just see that light, the dark cloud, pouring out of them, creating a little cloud between you and them. Bring it into you. And as you exhale, send out the light and feel how the energy of the darkness just combusts and it turns into this beautiful light. Just goes back to the light. The vibrational frequency changes completely from the denser, darker cloud of energy to light. Send it out to that person and a genuine, heartfelt wish for them to be unconditionally loved and to be free from suffering. Lovely. Now let's move on to everybody here. So there is 19 of us on tonight. And anybody else who's watching this on catch up, because there will be. Everybody who watches this now or in the future, be aware of everybody's presence. And we're all in this huge big circle. Imagine us expanding out. So we form this big circle of light around the planet. And I want you to, in your imagination, we're all around the planet. We're all sitting here with our beautiful particles of infinity shining out from way beyond our heart space now. So much that actually it all interconnects. So we form a ring of light. And then notice that when you look up in your awareness, there's this single ball of light that is above your 8th chakra. So where we put our hands when we bring them into Namaste. It's way above there, but there's only one for all of us. And this is the 9th chakra. And it supplies everything that exists that is sentient. And see these threads of light coming down from it that connect all of us to this one source energy. And see how it illuminates in our hearts. And we're all interconnected. We all have different earthly experiences. We all have different families and ancestral stuff going on. But we are all one with this single, beautiful, huge ball of energy, the 9th chakra. And as you breathe in, imagine that we're breathing in each other's suffering. We're going to share it all out evenly. Breathe it in, amplify the fire at our heart space, and as you exhale, push out this beautiful energy that's so intense from all of us that this ring, that is around the Earth is now completely covering the Earth in a big ball of light. So we're expanding our own light out, stepping out of time. And then start to bring in your awareness of your neighbors. Just bring it in an intuitive way. Can you sense outwards to your neighbors, maybe upwards, even in your flat, or downwards, maybe in all directions? Push your awareness out to encompass your village, neighborhood, town, city. Let it encompass your country until you push out so far that it incorporates all continents of the planet. It incorporates all humans, all beings, the plants, the crystals, the rocks, the mycelium network, the waters, the life in the waters, the fish, the whales, the dolphins, the tiny little plankton, microscopic life to the biggest life like a blue whale. Let it expand and hold all beings, all our relations. And that it holds planet Earth itself. So, of course, Mother Earth is sentient. She has a heartbeat. We started with the heartbeat. And feel that collective suffering. Breathe it in. Huge, massive bonfire now, lots to put on that fire. Exhale, push it out, and just bathe the world in light. And a genuine wish. See it happening now that the world is at peace. There is plenty for everybody, including all beings. Animals don't live in fear. They're not caged. Mother's body, the planet Earth body, is free of pollution. The waters are free of pollution. The air is free of pollution. We've harnessed the elements to create green energy that's not impactful on the planet, and it's possible. So dream it into being. That we start to live more in community again, where we support each other in groups. We meet. We share each other's stories and we laugh, we cry together. And we experience life with all its ups and downs. And just a few more breaths now for the entire planet. Gonna start bringing your awareness inwards again now. So it's coming inwards from that global feeling of connection, the global consciousness, and coming back into your individual aspect of consciousness. And be aware of the heart space. Gently touch it with both hands. And be aware of that beautiful light that is your true self exploring planet Earth this time around. What are the lessons that we've got? What can we learn from them? How can we grow? How can we help others? And remember that we all tremble and we all know fear. But turn to the one life that pervades the universe, whose name dispels fear. So whose name There is thousands of names for the Great Spirit, but actually it's unnameable. We just name it because it helps our human mind, but it is unnameable, but we can perceive it and find it resonating in your heart. Feel it there. Luminosity permeates the universe. The secret sound that hums everything into existence resounds everywhere. Listen to the inner sound continually. Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the hum and become lovers with the secret one. Lovely. Bring the hands out to the side. So we opened our energy field over each other and those who'll watch it in the future tense. So let's lift it up. Pop that light back in and bring a little bit of that light down through all of your chakras and share some with Mother Earth. Imagine placing your hands to the earth and then pull up your own personal energy field, pull it all the way up. Maybe it feels a bit crunchy, like a bit of tinfoil. Scrunch it up, and then gently share some of that light. So we're illuminating our chakras from our 8th chakra, which is our soul. And our soul carries all our memories of life on earth in its many lifetimes. And with it, it brings the wisdom that we've learnt from them. Hands to the heart space. And namaste. Thank you for joining me.